Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Scenic Route Astrology. My name is Makayla Davis. I'm a spiritual empowerment coach, evolutionary predictive astrologer, psychic medium, and channel. And today we're talking about the Mars-Saturn conjunction in Pisces. That's happening on Wednesday, April 10th, 2024. If you're new to my channel, I welcome you. And if you're returning, thank you for coming back. And please don't forget to give me a like, share, and subscribe. So this transit is a unique one because it only happens for us once every 30 years. The next time we will see this transit, it will be in 2052. So, it's something that's just going to birth and begin a new 30-year cycle in the part of our chart where Pisces falls. And this is going to include dynamics around karma, around time, around creating boundaries for ourselves, self-mastery, and our assertion and devotion and drive to these types of things in the Pisces realm of our chart. Saturn is in Pisces for the next couple of years, so it's important that we're honing in and looking in on the part of our chart where Saturn is transiting right now. So wherever Pisces is transiting your chart, it's good for us to hone and look in at that specific place, and also where Neptune is in your chart, right? And where your natal placements of Mars and Saturn are in your chart as well, because this is going to help you develop a personal storyline of what you're building in your life right now, right? How you're co-creating with the universe to basically create the dreams that you desire, okay? The things that we imagine in our life that we want to create, that we want to manifest into our physical, tangible world. Things that will bring us a sense of closeness to wholeness or being a wholer person. Things that will bring us more love and inspiration into our lives, okay? This is what this transit is going to help us focus in on and hone in on, okay? I know a lot of astrologers are already covering this, and that's great. It's good to get multiple perspectives, but I'm hearing a lot of people, look at it from more so the negative side, which I will cover, but I also want to give you an empowered version of what this will look like. And it's only because Mars and Saturn, both as planets, are known as the malefics, right? They're difficult planets to deal with in the chart. Saturn will bring you rewards over hard effort, long effort, right? Putting in hours, putting in time, taking responsibility. But it's also a planet that's going to bring up roadblocks, frustration, and a lot of fear as well. Okay, you can relate those themes to Saturn in the natal chart where it is placed personally, natally, and then also where it's transiting, it will often evoke those realms. Okay, and this is really just the soul realizing that there are certain things in our life, there are certain thresholds we have to cross, like feelings of loneliness, of solitude, of hard work, of wisdom. There are things that deserve a longer time, right? They can't be awarded to you or taken for granted and given so freely and quickly. Saturn really develops maturity and emotional maturity within the chart, within the human's consciousness, right? And so we can look at Saturn with respect, right? Yes, does it bring hardship, and will it create those walls and those blockages and those frustrations? Yeah, of course. But when we understand what Saturn is really trying to make us learn and how we can show up for ourselves and how we can basically do the hard work to earn the Saturn effort and not fear it so much, then we become more empowered with what Saturn has to offer. And it's also being conjunct Mars tomorrow, which is also a malefic planet. And, Mars is known as the god of war planet, right? It is a lover and a fighter type of energy, but with Mars energy, it can be impulsive, it can be instinctual, it can be aggressive, It can cause accidents, like literally physical accidents. It can cause fights, right? It can cause wars, affliction, overpowered assertion, right? Those are Mars dynamics. But Mars is also a planet that teaches us how to get what we want and how to go after it, right? It becomes the embodiment of our desires and how we go after and get our desires. All right. So we're getting this conjunction tomorrow in Pisces that's rolling over the Pisces section of our house, where we learn lessons of compassion. We learn lessons around letting go. We learn lessons around cultivating imagination and visions and dreams and becoming more spiritually savvy and connecting ourselves to a higher consciousness, right? So themes that can come up under this transit, can become an individual who's experiencing now a new cycle emerging over the next 30 years of meeting where you need to put long devotion and time, those are Saturn themes, and effort, Mars, into making a dream happen, right? Being devoted, selflessly devoted, because it's in Pisces, to something that you believe is going to bring you more love, more fulfillment, and more compassion into your life. I definitely think that this is a transit that will start to evoke those deep unconscious fears that's held for you as an individual and within the natal chart, okay? And I'm not exempt from this. Nobody's going to be exempt from this. But the reason why I'm saying this is because Pisces, the 12th house, right? Those themes deal with our unconscious attitudes, right? Our unconscious behaviors. And often when things are going through Pisces, we're getting transits through Pisces, progressions, or your natal transits, natal placements in Pisces and so forth, or in the 12th house. There can be a dynamic where emotions that are really, really like beneath the surface, like not in a Scorpio way, like where there's a secretness to it, although there can be some secrecy involved with Pisces as well, but it's a different type of tactic I think Pisces uses it for. It is a deep fear that needs to be exposed, and that can be a fear of letting go, a fear of the death of something, right? The fear of the completion of something ending. And what we learn with Pisces is that all things come to a full cycle and things get regenerated in Pisces as well. It is the cosmic womb, if you will, right? This is where the gestation process of a new thing can be cultivated, right? Can be nurtured in the womb of all lovingness and being. Pisces is where we learn to transcend emotions, right? So with the two malefic planets, with Saturn and Mars making a conjunction here, where Saturn will definitely represent fear, right? And people needing to put in hard work, and the fear of you not achieving it, for instance, like the fear of it not becoming a dream. Saturn just wants you to put in that effort anyway, and it can be grueling and it can be painful and it can be exhausting at times, right? But it's going to reward you as long as you put in this effort. And so this Mars conjunct Saturn that is in Pisces could expose the fears of, what is blocking you really from you putting in the work and the effort and using that Mars assertion to really hone in and drive yourself, right, towards making that vision happen, or towards getting that wholeness and that completion that you're searching for. And so, this is impregnating, if you will, a seed in the section of your chart where Pisces is, okay? And just to be a little bit more critical, this is going to be happening at, let me just pull up the chart real quick, and days 14 degrees of Pisces. Okay, it's 14 degrees of Pisces in your chart. So if you have any planets on 10 degrees on either side of Pisces, or opposite in Virgo, or squaring it from the Sag, the Gemini, this will be triggering those sections of your chart. If you have angles at those points, this will be triggering those in a more impactful way. And of course, through all the Pisces out there, the Virgos out there, and the Sag and the Geminis, you could be getting like a little special boost of this effort, this energy in your chart. And there's also this dynamic where, Mars is really going to be able to give you the courage to get through the hardship, right? Get through the walls, if you will, or even help you carry through the discipline that's needed to get the job done. And essentially, with Mars and Pisces, it can be a little wishy-washy because it doesn't have the drive when it's in its natural rulers like Aries or Scorpio, where there's more of like a straight impulsive ambition. With Mars and Pisces, it's a little bit more sensitive, right? It's more open to other people's emotions, right? Other people's feelings, other things, right? And so there can be this ability for Mars and Pisces to be like, no, I don't really feel like doing that right now, right? The Mars assertion doesn't really work as it normally would in its rulership signs. It's like, do I feel like it? And that's okay at times, right? It's okay to allow yourself, you got to like have a timeout, you got to have a day out, and you're like, I don't really want to do this. But because we're getting this Mars-Saturn conjunction in Pisces that's starting this new 30-year cycle, Saturn's going to come in and show up and being like, are you dedicating yourself to this? Like, are you putting in the structure and the endurance and the hard effort that's needed to make the reality that you want to live here? I can see a lot of people like becoming pregnant under this transit because Mars rules your sex drive, and obviously it will depend on where it's falling in your chart, but maybe you're a man and this is happening in your 7th house, so it's coming through your partner. Maybe you're a woman, it's happening in your 5th house, or it could be happening in your 11th house where you're getting kids from step kids coming in and so forth, right? Because we can't rule out the fact that we can have new partnerships come into our life, and and they already have kids, and so there can be a manifestation here because Mars is the sex drive, right? Mars is how we assert our sex drive as well. And with conjoining Saturn here and in Pisces, it could be like implanting the seed, if you will, of something that you're going to have to devote your time and energy to for a long haul, right? Even beyond the 30-year cycle, right? So, because there is that Lord of Time, that Lord of Karma. And so under this transit, you want to be really aware of what you're committing to right now, right? Where are you putting your assertion? Where are you putting your effort? You want to be super aware because the choices that you're making are going to be putting out the success or the failure that you'll have in this section of your chart. And with Pisces, we can get, such great gifts. Like we can get the ultimate vision that we're trying to create, like the dream, the imaginative realm that we can drift often and daydream over sometimes, right? With Mars and Saturn here, you can utilize these two very powerful planets to actually put in the time, put in the effort, right? And use it for accomplishment, okay? For some people as well, and it's also wise if this doesn't apply to you, but it applies to people who are around you in your life. You want to pay attention now to the people who slide in and out of addictive qualities, because Saturn and Pisces, Mars and Pisces, people can slip back into things that are not so healthy for them. And with two malefics here, and Saturn can rule hospitals, it rules institutions, right? Jails, rehabs. We can see a lot of people either slipping up, in the toxicity of things that we try to escape, right? We try to escape from. So that's why alcoholism and drug addicts or any type of addiction really can surface with Pisces. So we want to pay attention to those tenacities if we have them, and using the wiseness and the self mastery that Saturn has to, have the will to keep going forward, okay, and not slipping out, because the two can happen, right? Manifestations always happen in polarities, and we can choose one way or the other. It's like up to what what road do you want to take, right? So for some people, they might be coming out of rehab now, right? And embarking on a new journey of clarity, right? Of higher consciousness, right? Really crystal clear purification has happened with the Mars-Saturn conjunction. And now that they're released, right, from the karmic reins that Saturn might have put on them, like, okay, you needed the time, you needed to put in the hard work here to overcome these addictive qualities. And now Mars is giving you a new sense of energy, as Mars is energy, right, to survive, if you will, because, there's no judgment. People use those things as a coping mechanism to survive, because Pisces can bring up a lot of deep pain. And so with Mars and Pisces, people's actions could become driven by that unconscious layer of those deep pains, right? Of those deep fears or those shames or those guilts, okay? That can be a manifestation. So people can either be going into the rehabs or institutions and so forth, or coming out of them, and you just want to keep, your eyes open for the people who are in your life around you. And then also, if you're using astrology as a tool to heal for yourself, and this is coming up for you, know that this is an opportunity to create a new discipline, right? A new discipline to swim through the transit with a much more empowered approach, right, towards this. And Saturn will give you your rewards. It will reward you from that, right? Or it could castrate you if you're choosing things that are not in alignment or best for your health and your soul and so forth. The other thing that can come up under this is, and I wanted to bring up for people, is that we can feel like we're obligated to dedicate our time and our energy towards certain things because of our sensitivity to how other people are feeling, right? With this transit. And what I see could happen is some people stray off their path because they feel a sense of guilt or shame, and they feel like they owe something to someone. And this becomes a level of boundaries, okay? And Saturn deals with boundaries here. And with it being in Pisces, it's like Pisces erodes those boundaries. It kind of washes them down or makes them not as sturdy or strong, right? Saturn is very happy being in the signs of Aquarius and Capricorn, where its boundaries can be more structured, right? In two different elements, of course, but in Pisces, it's like the boundaries are very soft. They're very susceptible to being manipulated, if you will, reshaped, okay? And so if we don't have strong boundaries, we don't practice good boundaries, then Mars Saturn can come in as people trying to evade them, people trying to provoke us, right? Trying to bust through them. And you want to stay strong with your ability to nurture and care and have compassion for yourself first. And I encourage people to think about where your boundaries could be crossed, or where you feel like you might want to let them down, for the sake of people pleasing or feeling overly compassionate, or at the cost and at the expense of yourself, right? Because there can be this self-sacrificing quality with Pisces. And so with Mars, Saturn there, we can maybe feel like we have to sacrifice a part of ourselves, for the benefit of somebody else. And of course you want to use like your good judgment here, right? This is a Saturn thing. You want to use your good judgment, but I do encourage people under this transit to really take some time to reflect on if you have healthy boundaries that can prepare you for this next 30-year cycle that is beginning in the section of your chart where Pisces is, because you want to still hold them, because boundaries is a sign of self-respect and self-love. And the soul doesn't look at you with the negative point of view if you are saying no to things, right? Or if you're denying things, or if you're not comfortable with things and you feel guilty to say no because you're like, well, maybe I should sacrifice myself for this, but at what expense, right? Look at the cost. If it's hurting you, if it's spiraling you into chaos, if it's making you sick, if it's making you unhealthy, then I really encourage people to evaluate the lessons that Saturn is trying to teach you in Pisces, and the help of Mars here, the giving you the strength to learn those lessons in a more positive light, right? In a more positive approach to stand up for yourself, to hold those boundaries. And basically you can just approach this with a new level of, I'm not available for this, or I am available for this, and when you begin to do that, which is why we can see some people, you could be experiencing this as an individual or watching other people experience this with the Mars-Saturn conjunction in Pisces. There could be a cutting out of some people or things or situations in your life that have been crossing your boundaries, and now Mars crosses Saturn and it's like no more, right? Because Mars cuts as well. Mars, it's a warrior planet. It will fight for what it needs to survive. And so we can see, things continuing to dissolve in certain areas, but it will pick up new energy as well, right? Energy does not get destroyed and then it goes nowhere. It will basically do that gestation process where, something will be reborn out of that. Okay. I think we can see more floods under this on a more global scale. I think we could see more floods happening. We could see more earthquakes happening, things in the ground shaking up. I think more rainfalls happening and so forth. Maybe boating accidents we can still continue to see, because Pisces rules the ocean, things with the water. Mars can be accidents. It can be, the destruction of things and so forth. And then Saturn representing a structure or a vessel of some kind that is providing some support, if you will. So, be careful, just tomorrow, really, just not for 30 years, but really just, just tomorrow on April 10th, just be careful traveling via water, or going on ferries and stuff like that, or just keep an eye out, just be vigilant, keep your ears and eyes open and stuff. So other than that, I'm looking at this as like a really positive transit that we can work on the area of our life that can really build some creativity, right? Connectiveness, and give us like the strength and the vitality. It can give us the drive. It can give us the ambition to carry something that comes from a higher space, like a creative project or something that we're really inspired by, or we feel just would make our life more beautiful, more complete, right? Bring more connectivity to the life itself. This transit can really give you the passion and the drive to reap the benefits. Okay, it's just going to take time. So just remember, like, this is evoking a new 30-year cycle at the degrees of 14 Pisces in your chart, and any planets it could be aspecting, it could be helping that. But it's also going to help the evolution of your personal planets of Saturn and Mars in your chart as well. So you want to take a little gander and look at, where's my Saturn in my natal chart and what is that teaching me? And where is my Mars and what is that teaching me? And now how is this conjunction in Pisces helping those two planets evolve, right? My dog, sorry. Because everything goes back to the natal chart at the end of the day. So I hope everyone enjoyed that little talk. And if you want to drop me a comment down below, let me know what's happening for you, if this resonated. Where is this falling for you, and any feedback. I love the feedback from everybody. I like knowing how other people are experiencing the transits and what's showing up for them. And please don't forget to give me a like, share, and subscribe if you vibed with this episode. And thank you all for being here, and I'll talk to you soon. Okay, ciao.